All right, let's talk about a challenge that pretty much every creator runs into. How do you build a world that feels totally real, lived in and authentic without just dumping a ton of exposition on your audience? We're going to break that down today.
Yeah, this is the big one, right? You've only got a few words, maybe a single scene, to convince somebody that your world has its own history, its own culture, its own unique voice. It feels almost impossible sometimes, but trust me, it's not. And today, we're going to look at exactly how it's done.
So we're going to be diving into this fantastic little scene from a comic script. Honestly, it's like a perfect mini masterclass in world building. It shows you how to set up a unique culture, a really deep relationship, and a believable setting in just a handful of panels.
Okay, first up, language. The dialogue in this scene is sprinkled with this fictional coastal dialect they call Arreqqana. And let me tell you, it is the absolute fastest way to make us feel like we're somewhere completely new.
Boom, right out of the gate, we get this line. Jaru's just thinking to himself, but his internal thought uses a word we have never seen before, kehaya wa. Instantly, you know you're not in Kansas anymore. You're in a place that has its own slang, its own rhythm.
And think about what this one phrase is doing. It's doing so much heavy lifting. By making up a unique word for a really intense emotion, the author gives this culture a specific feel. Kiawaya wa isn't just a stand-in for love. It's a peek into how these people feel things, how they express themselves, all without a single boring sentence of explanation.
And it doesn't stop there, not even in a dream. As Peppy is waking up, she mumbles this word, dosha laja. This isn't just some generic, food. No, it's something very, very specific. And this is just such a smart move. When you give specific names to everyday things, food, places, holidays, it makes a world feel solid, tangible. You can almost taste the doshalaja. It hints that there's a restaurant, that this is a famous dish, that it's Peppy's absolute favorite, a whole backstory in one made-up word.
Now, look really close at this next line. It's the last word that's so important here. Spaja. It's so tiny you could almost miss it. But what is it actually doing?
This right here is the secret sauce. Sha is just a little verbal tick, kind of like how we might say, or eh. It makes Jaru's speech feel totally natural, not like he's reading from a script. But even more than that, it hints that they share a regional background. It's a tiny piece of his identity, all tucked into 3 little letters. That's how you get that deep down realism.
Okay, and this is where it all just clicks into place. At the very end of the scene, Jaru calls Peppy his doll's Jawa. Now look, he could have just said, "That's my girl." And that would have been fine, totally fine. But doll's Jawa, that is so much richer. It's personal. It's an in-world pet name, probably a little inside joke about her favorite food. It's a single word that tells us a whole story about them.
But making a world feel real isn't just about what people say. It's also about what they do. So let's look at how this scene uses completely silent actions to build character and show us just how deep this relationship goes.
Just watch Jurwa's movements because they tell us everything we need to know. He doesn't just barge in, he unlocks the door softly. That's consideration. He doesn't just shake her awake, he gently runs his hand through her hair. That shows us their intimacy. And he doesn't just show up, he brings her favorite meal. It's this quiet act that just screams how well he knows her and how much he cares.
See? We don't need a single line of dialogue where Jaru says, "I love and respect Peppy." His actions just showed us that, and way more powerfully than words ever could. This is the absolute heart of authentic storytelling.
So how do we actually use all this stuff? Well, it really boils down to a simple but really powerful formula that combines that very specific language with deliberate, meaningful action. So here it is, the recipe this scene basically hands to us. You start with a unique dialect and some cultural specifics to lay the foundation of your world. Then you layer on those natural inflections and actions that define your characters, making it all feel real and inhabited. And finally, you seal the deal on relationships with those one-of-a-kind terms of endearment. Every single piece builds on the last. And that's really the secret, isn't it? Authenticity isn't found in some big, sweeping paragraph of lore. It's built from the ground up, with the smallest, most specific details you can find. It's the sha at the end of a sentence. It's the name of a favorite food. It's the quiet way a character opens a door. Those are the things that turn a scene from just words on a page into a moment that feels truly lived in. So I'll just leave you with this question. Whether you're writing a book, designing a game, whatever you're creating, just think about it. What is that one small, unique detail
that little verbal tick, that specific local dish, that quiet gesture that can make your world feel absolutely real. What's the suja in your story?